My name is Runo. If you're hearing this, it means there's still time to warn you. I need to get these stories out there. You need to know reality is not what it seems to be.
I know I'm not supposed to talk about SkinWalkers or Wendigos, but I'm genuinely concerned for my safety, as well as my family's safety. I've had a few encounters over the last year or so, but they've escalated quickly. I started out with a dragging noise outside my window around 3 a.m. and continued till about 4, and stopped abruptly. This continued for days till I worked up the courage to open up my curtains. I have really thick blackout shades that I never open. When I looked, there was absolutely nothing, and the dragging noise stopped instantly. I closed the curtains, turned on some music, and tried to calm myself down. A few nights go by without any instances. I decided to go out with some girls that I know, and a little bit later into the night, we're parked hanging out in my car behind a Publix at around 2 a.m. I excuse myself to go to the bathroom and go relieve myself behind a bush. The second I finish, however, I hear the same dragging noise, but about 50 feet away in the forest. Take in mind, this is about 25 to 30 miles away from the original encounter. My heart stopped. I walked towards it a bit and peeked over to see a possum walking out of the forest. I immediately felt relieved, only to quickly realize that there was a bear-like figure lurking barely in view in the forest. I quickly ran back to my friends and drove off. While I was driving, however, I heard a knock on my window while I was on the highway. I quickly floored it to well above 100 miles per hour, and nothing happened the rest of the night. I had on and off dragging outside my window for weeks, but it slowly stopped over a few months. About 6 to 7 months have passed since it stopped. But about 2 weeks ago, it started back up, much closer to my window than ever before. I took my dog out a few days ago, about 4 a.m. in the middle of a slight drizzle. But about not even 30 seconds of me opening my back door, the dragging started on the other side of the fence. And a blood-curdling scream ran out from where the dragging noise was. It sounded human, but not human at the same time. I live in a very quiet, peaceful neighborhood, right next to an intercoastal, so this is definitely out of the ordinary. The dragging noise has started to become louder and closer to my window since then. Got audio of the dragging noise, but after showing my mom and grandparents, they assume it's nothing. I've also had friends over who have heard the dragging noise, so I know I'm not crazy. I do not know what this could be, but my grandfather was a judge for the Navajo tribe not many years ago. And I visited the Navajo tribe a few times when I was younger. You can refer to me as Ricky. The story takes place in Washington State, in a small town near Seattle. It took place in around the winter of this year, 2021. To set the scene, it was all around January. Me and my friends, who we'll call N and J, were hanging around at their house. They're twins. When we decided it would be fun to have a sleepover in Washington during January, it's pretty cold and turns dark around 4 p.m. At 5 p.m. we decided to go into their hot tub, which was located in their backyard in this neighborhood. Behind the houses was a backyard that was connected to a small forest that had a fence blocking a steep drop that led to a small creek. Against the fence was a small play set with a child-sized rock wall, hut, slide, and swings. The backyard led to a very large soccer and baseball field that sat right against an elementary school. To give a better picture from the street, the neighborhood on the left, field in the middle, and the elementary school on the right, with the forest behind them all. Anyway, we were chilling in the hot tub playing Truth or Dare and being normal 14-year-olds, which gave us all full view of the previously mentioned playset. I've always been afraid of what could have been lurking in the dark, so I kept my view on the playset as much as I could. After around an hour or so, at around 6 p.m. we decided to get out and grab our towels and start to dry ourselves off. As the once quiet forest became quieter, sort of like Jay, N, and I were the only things on the face of the planet. Being somewhat scared, I rushed inside and my friends quickly followed. When we got inside, we sat in the living room playing Halo Master Chief Collection. After a few hours, we get a strange energy boost and decided to go on a walk. At this point, it was around 9:45 p.m. We walked out the back door and went to the gate that separated the neighborhood from the field. We walked through the field to the school with no issues, and we've done this many times already. We played games, told jokes, and eventually ended up on the other end of the field, which was being watered by sprinklers. It was 11 p.m. at this point. We decided we should go back home. We got around within 40 to 50 feet from the gate that severed the two areas, and I saw something by the small baseball part of the field around 80 feet away. Ben already had his phone out, so I asked him to shine his light on it. The light could barely reach it, only giving us a barely visible silhouette. Two things were apparent. It was large and around 8 feet or so, but it also had bright glowing eyes similar to dog or cat's eyes at night. We all stopped confused at what exactly it was, before I broke the silence saying, "I don't know what it is, but we're running." We all started to dart towards the gate. The creature didn't start to move until we got around 10 feet or so from the gate. It then stood up. It got taller. I'm not sure by how much, since I didn't have a very good look at it, but I was sure it was getting closer. I I got to the gate first, and the moment I got there, I felt completely cold and weird numb sensation. I was struggled opening the gate, but I opened the gate faster than I have ever done before, and I ran towards the house. Only around 15 feet away from the gate behind us, N trips and quickly scrambles up. I looked behind me to make sure N was okay, but quickly changed my glance towards the glowing eyes that gloomed above the fence, watching us as if it was satisfied with our reactions. We ended up making it home safe, but it wasn't over there. I decided to sleep in N's room, which could have been the worst decision I made. N's room had a window that looked over the backyard. Although I couldn't see what was outside due to me being on the floor, using my blankets as some sort of protection, every now and then I'd hear a tap on the window. We're on the second floor. N was fast asleep, leaving me too afraid to wake him up, just in case if it were to attack me when I got into his view from the window. I laid there for what felt like hours until the tapping finally stopped. But when it stopped, I heard something that scared the living hell out of me. A small chuckle or some sort of satisfied grunt. I wasn't able to fall asleep that night. But when the daylight struck, I woke up and explained my experience. I just recently moved to a small town in South Dakota. My apartment is surrounded by fields and woodland. 2 nights ago, I took my St. Bernard out for a walk around midnight. Funny enough, a few nights ago, me and some friends were sharing urban legends and creepypastas. But one of my friends says she doesn't whistle at night because of skinwalkers. I didn't really know what that meant. Anyway, on the night in question, I was standing with my dog when I started to hear a whistle. Just 2 tones repeated over and over. I know that it wasn't a bird, it was distinctly human. I also know that I wasn't imagining anything because my dog got concerned and began to become restless while staring into the dark where it seemed the whistle was coming from. Usually he's so friendly and curious, but he got scared and actually hid behind me. I headed inside quickly and the whistle continued behind me. For some reason, I wanted the whistle back. I knew it was a bad idea and managed to stay quiet. I got inside and locked the door and all my windows. I told my girlfriend what I heard, and she of course dismissed it, and said that I just needed some sleep. I haven't been able to sleep since, and last night I swear I heard a tapping on my window. I live on the 5th floor. This may sound like I'm trying to write a creepy story, but I swear this all happened. I don't know anything about this stuff. What should I do? So this happened a couple nights ago. Me and my friends were drinking and doing farm kid stuff. It was around 3 a.m., and we were both pretty drunk at this point. My friend went inside and left me and her dog outside so she could go to the bathroom. Well, I needed to pee and was like, the hell with it, I'll piss behind the tree. Well, I was doing my business and my friend's dog's hackles go up. She takes off running towards the tree, growling and barking. My friend and her mom live on about 3.5 acres of property with a lot of trees around it. I call her over and over again, and she's still growling and barking. But then all of a sudden, she lets out this whine and came running back, tail between her legs. I put her to the door into the light, and when I look back, I see something white running on all 4s across the property that looked very human. It didn't notice me, and I acted like I didn't see, but I pulled the dog inside and went to bed. My friend's window faces where the thing ran, and I didn't sleep much that night. I heard heavy breathing at one point, but I acted like I was still asleep. I don't know what me and the dog saw, but it wasn't human, and it scared both of us, because she wouldn't even go near where she saw the thing. What did we see? I live in Canada, so I know there isn't any skinwalkers here, but I didn't know where else to post this. My adoptive mom, who lives about 4 hours from me, has had nightmares about this creature since she was pregnant with my little sister, who is now 15. It is always the same nightmare, and usually brings her insomnia before something really bad happens. She started having insomnia again recently, and I poked and prodded for a while until I finally got her to tell me what it was causing it. She did not want to share with me because it scares her very badly, and she didn't want anyone else to know. She said she thinks she's dreaming of a skinwalker, and described it as something vaguely humanoid, but with animalistic features and very, very pale, with long hair like a human's. It has absurdly long fingers and claws and animalistic feet and legs like a dog's back legs. It smells very bad, like something dead. In the dream, it is stalking her. And when it tries to kill her by ripping out her throat, she wakes up. Now, most of this is just dreams, and while she was telling me, I was trying to think of a way to soothe her so she would have less nightmares. But then she told me she saw it in her room with her own 2 eyes, when she woke up the last time she had the nightmare. The setting is very different in her dream, so she doesn't think she's having a sleep paralysis experience. She says she's positive she is awake. She cannot blink her eyes. She wants to look away and blink, so it'll be gone, and she can't. When she finally does manage to blink, it's gone, but she has the creeps and can no longer sleep. Scary. Maybe sleep paralysis. I was telling her to talk to her doctor about her medication in case it's causing this. We did not tell my brother, who is also adopted and lives about 3 hours from both of us. Last night my brother called my mom in an absolute panic, saying his dog and 2 cats woke him up growling and puffed up. He said he could see what they were looking at, but it was like a shadow, and he took a picture of it. Unfortunately, the flash wasn't on, but he caught a photo of the thing's hand in his bedroom. He had no prior knowledge of my mom's nightmares. My adoptive mom is descended from Cherokee natives. She doesn't know what percentage, but she resembles Cherokee very much. My brother is also percentage Cherokee, but doesn't resemble it as strongly. I am as well, but smaller percentage than either of them, and I have not seen this creature, at least as of yet. My mom is furious, and my brother is terrified. We're looking for any help we can get. Neither of them slept last night.